You can bench press 300 pounds, but can you carry a 50-pound bug-out bag for 15 miles on zero sleep? That's the real question, and the answer might make you rethink everything you've been doing in the weight room. This is the gap between gym strength and survival strength. For preppers, understanding that gap could be the difference between thriving and dying when everything falls apart. Start with the truth the fitness industry doesn't want to talk about. The strongest people in the gym are not always the most capable people in the field. That's not a controversial take. It's what the science supports, what the military proves every single day, and what anyone who's watched a season of Alone has already seen play out. If you're just getting into prepping, here's the landscape. There are two fundamentally different philosophies when it comes to building a strong body. Traditional strength training, the kind most people do at a commercial gym, is an end unto itself. You're chasing numbers, a bigger squat, a heavier bench press, more weight on the bar. Functional strength training is a means to an end. It's about how well your muscles, joints, and nervous system work together when you're bending, reaching, twisting, carrying, and scrambling through the real world. Think of it this way. Traditional strength training gives you bigger biceps. Functional strength training gives you the ability to actually lift and move objects when your life depends on it. One looks impressive, the other keeps you alive. Before anyone fires off in the comments about bodybuilders being weak, that's not what's being argued here. To grow serious muscle, you need serious resistance training at high volumes for many years, and many bodybuilders are tremendously strong. But strength isn't the primary goal of bodybuilding. Aesthetics are. And in a grid-down SHTF scenario, the question isn't how much you can lift in a controlled environment with perfect footing, a knurled bar, chalk on your hands, and a spotter behind you. The question is what you can do when the world is on fire. Let's talk about farm strength. You've probably heard the term, and it's similar to old man strength. It describes something that happens when someone spends years doing hard manual labor. Farmers, ranchers, construction workers, loggers. These people develop a kind of repetition strength, a strength endurance that gym lifters rarely build. Farm work demands stamina, balance, finesse, hand-eye coordination, and far more gripping and pulling than your average gym session. Farmers are constantly handling varied loads, carrying things over different distances, bracing heavy objects while performing tasks, and wrangling animals. There's no set and rep scheme for restraining a 1,500-pound bull that doesn't want to go into the chute. That variability is exactly what survival demands, and it's exactly what most gym programs fail to develop. Here's why. In the gym, bodybuilding-style training typically runs 8 to 12 reps at 65 to 80% of your max. Strength athletes push heavier, training at 85 to 95% of their 1-rep max. Both approaches work within their domains, but exercises like the bench press, leg press, and bicep curl are designed to isolate specific muscle groups. They build raw power in targeted areas. What they don't develop is your balance, your mobility, or your ability to coordinate multiple muscle groups simultaneously under unpredictable conditions. Functional training flips this entirely. The focus is on movement patterns, not muscle groups. Push, pull, squat, hinge, carry, crawl, twist. You'll hear about push days and squat days instead of chest days and arm days. The exercises use compound movements, often with body weight or free weights, and rarely machines, because machines stabilize you. In a survival scenario, nothing is going to stabilize you. Here is the cardiovascular piece most preppers overlook. Traditional strength training provides some cardiovascular benefit, but it typically will not raise your heart rate to any significant degree. If your only fitness training is lifting heavy things and putting them down, your heart and lungs are being neglected. You will not make it far if you are wheezing while hiking, chopping wood, or rowing a boat. Functional training organically incorporates cardio through full body flows, linking movements into longer sequences that build real endurance. That's where something like CrossFit enters the conversation. Unlike traditional cardio, such as long-distance running or cycling, CrossFit conditioning blends strength movements with aerobic effort. A workout might combine rowing, burpees, and box jumps, training the body to handle real-world physical demands rather than isolated fitness components. Those workouts boost both your VO2 max and your lactate threshold, the two factors that determine how long you can stay strong under sustained physical output. Now let's get to the actual standards. What does survival-ready fitness look like? Military and law enforcement have minimum physical fitness requirements for a reason. Special operations forces face the most diverse, high-risk physical demands imaginable. Explosive power, maximal strength, prolonged endurance, rapid decision-making under stress. Decades of Department of Defense research identified 8 core competencies for high-risk operators: stress tolerance, adaptability, cooperation, physical fitness, stamina, judgment, motivation, and initiative. Army Special Forces selection requires candidates to meet minimum standards on pull-ups, a 5-mile run, and a 12-mile ruck march carrying 65 pounds. And those are the minimums. If you're flirting with minimums, you're not making it through. The full selection runs 24 days and tests physical and mental stamina to their absolute limits. Some Special Forces units pass just 3% of applicants, sometimes none at all. These are the gold standard of survival fitness. And what do these candidates train? Not bench press maxes. They run, ruck, carry loads over distance, climb, swim, and learn to function under extreme fatigue and caloric deficit. They train the whole system, not individual parts. For anyone just getting into prepping, pay attention to what the most elite survival-ready humans on the planet actually prioritize. It's not the mirror muscles. Now let's cover the part of this equation that almost nobody considers until it's too late. The calorie problem. The average adult needs roughly 2,000 calories per day to maintain weight and function normally. In a survival situation with added stress, cold exposure, and physical exertion, that daily requirement can easily reach 3,000 or 4,000 calories. If your emergency involves sustained physical labor like clearing debris, hauling water, or hiking to a secondary location, your caloric consumption can double. And here's where the muscle mass paradox kicks in. More muscle means more caloric demand. Muscle tissue is metabolically active, burning more calories than fat tissue even at rest. Skeletal muscle carries an energy cost of approximately 54 kilojoules per kilogram per day. That extra 20 pounds of muscle you built doing bodybuilding is burning through your food stores faster than someone with a leaner, more functional build. You can survive on 500 calories a day for a short period, but your body enters a state of semi-starvation quickly. Extreme fatigue, mental fog, muscle wasting. Your body literally starts consuming its own tissue for energy. You can handle losing about 10% of your body weight without serious physical repercussions, assuming you stay hydrated. Beyond that threshold, both strength and endurance drop rapidly. Research shows that healthy people can generally maintain their normal work capacity for up to 10 days, even with a severe calorie deficit. After that, you're on borrowed time, and the bigger and more muscular you are, the faster that clock ticks. This fits perfectly with what you see on survival shows like Alone. Contestants can spend their initial days sorting out shelter and scouting resources, but if they're not pulling in significant calories after a week, they're in serious trouble. It also explains why some of the most successful participants end up spending weeks lying in their shelters, moving as little as possible. A calorie saved is a calorie earned. The massive guy with the impressive physique burns through reserves at a rate that a leaner, more efficient body simply doesn't match. The US adult obesity rate has reached 42.4%, which means for most Americans, the conversation isn't even about gym strength versus functional strength. It's about having any functional capacity at all. For the prepping community, this is a wake-up call. If your entire preparedness plan comes down to stockpiling more bullets, you're probably not physically fit for survival. All the traditional preps, the bunker, the range time, the best gear money can buy, all of it collapses without one critical component. You, your body, your ability to move, carry, endure, and adapt. Let's address the adrenaline myth, because someone's already thinking it. The stories are real. Mothers lifting cars off their children. Superhuman feats under extreme stress. And yes, adrenaline and cortisol do increase physical ability in highly stressful situations, but the science shows these effects are wildly exaggerated. If you can normally lift 100 pounds, a stress response might help you lift 130, not 3,000. And even if adrenaline could turn you into Superman for a moment, the effect is short-lived. Once that surge wears off, you crash hard. Extreme fatigue sets in. You can't build a survival plan around a chemical spike that lasts minutes and leaves you wrecked for hours. So what should a prepper's training actually look like? Deadlifts in all their forms. They target your forearms, lats, glutes, hamstrings, core, and full back. It's a truly full-body exercise, but technique matters. An injury in a grid-down scenario isn't an inconvenience. It's potentially fatal. Overhead presses with barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, and sandbags, because in survival, you're going to need to put heavy things above your head. Loaded carries in every variation. Farmer carries, sled pushes, sled pulls, wheelbarrow carries. This is where real survival strength lives, carrying things for distance, under load for extended periods. Don't underestimate flexibility either. Being nimble enough to avoid injury is a top priority. You don't want to throw out your back moving a fallen tree after a hurricane. If you only make a lifting motion occasionally, you're far more prone to injury. Even basic activities like hiking can cause shin splints and cramps if your body isn't conditioned. In an emergency, you might not get the luxury of warming up before you have to act. Here's a practical tip that doubles as both training and preparation. Go on hikes with your bug-out bag. One of the biggest flaws in many preparedness plans is creating a bug-out bag that the owner can't actually carry for any significant distance. Taking that bag on regular hikes is great practice and a phenomenal workout. If you can't carry your gear is useless. Rock climbing is another underrated prepper fitness activity. It builds grip strength, problem solving under physical stress, and the ability to move quickly through complicated terrain. It mimics real-life survival scenarios in ways that almost no gym exercise can. And here's one more piece of advice that sounds absurdly simple, but could genuinely save your life. Keep your feet dry. Wet feet cause blisters, and walking with blisters burns more energy because you unconsciously alter your stride to compensate. In a survival march, that inefficiency compounds. Small details become massive liabilities over time. For anyone watching this as an introduction to prepping, understand that fitness isn't a separate category from your preparedness plan. It is the foundation. You can have the best gear, the deepest food stores, the most detailed evacuation routes, but if your body can't execute the plan doesn't exist. The research is clear on the ceiling for sustainable human output. For the general population, the maximum sustainable metabolic rate, the point where no body mass loss occurs over a prolonged period, sits at around 2.5 times your basal metabolic rate. Even elite endurance athletes can only push that to about 5 times their BMR, and only for events lasting a few weeks. After that, sustainable output drops back down regardless of training level. You cannot outrun thermodynamics. So here's the bottom line. The ideal prepper body isn't the biggest. It isn't the leanest. It's the most capable and the most efficient. It can lift heavy things, carry them far, keep moving when exhausted, and do all of it on limited calories. It combines strength with endurance, power with flexibility, raw capability with metabolic efficiency. The good news is you don't have to choose between gym strength and functional strength. They complement each other when combined properly into the same training plan. Blend compound lifts with loaded carries, endurance work with mobility training, heavy days with movement pattern days. Build a body that is both strong and useful, because when the grid goes down and the supply chains collapse, nobody is going to care how much you bench. They're going to care how far you can walk, how much you can carry, and how long you can keep going when everyone else has stopped. Your body is your most important piece of gear. Train it like your life depends on it, because one day, it might.